We start with India. A day before polling in the southern state of Karnataka, the Election Commission has deferred polls in one of the constituencies, RR Nagar. It will now be held on May 28th and the result will be declared for that particular constituency on the 31st of May. The Election Commission's move comes days after thousands of voter ID cards were seized from a residence in Jallahalli. This area falls in the RR Nagar. The poll panel has said that the current election process in the constituencies has been vitiated on account of this unlawful activity of candidates and political parties as well as their workers in planning to lure voters through the distribution of freebies and illegal collection of elector photo identity cards. Earlier, both national parties, the Congress and the BJP, had traded charges on the issue, with each claiming that it was a conspiracy by the other. The BJP had knocked on the poll panel's door and demanded asking for the elections in this constituency to be delayed. Right, so there's been a development on that front. Remember, this collection of more than 10,000 voter ID cards was found at an apartment in the Rajeshwari constituency. Now the election panel has said that this particular constituency will not be polling tomorrow. That's going to happen on the 28th of May and the results will be declared on the 31st. Nishtita Virendra, my colleague, is joining us on the phone line from Bengaluru. She's been tracking the elections for us. Nishtita, this of course became a huge controversy between the Congress and the BJP, and it looks like the poll panel has taken note.
Absolutely. In fact, it was pretty much on expected lines because the find of the raid on this apartment in Jallahalli in the constituency certainly raised many concerns about the electoral rolls here. And according to the Election Commission that addressed the media today, they stated that Muniratna, who is the Congress MLA from the constituency and has also been named as one of the accused in the FIR that has been filed by the EC, he had reportedly lured and bribed all these voters with pressure cookers and money and other such freebies in exchange of their voter ID cards, and that is how they ended up being stashed in one place. Up to 9,746 voter ID cards have been recovered, and the Election Commission confirmed that all these voter ID cards are genuine cards, they are not counterfeit. Secondly, they found counterfoils of over 1 lakh voter ID cards. Now, this counterfoil is basically the acknowledgement slip that one receives after enrolling himself or herself as a voter. So, the Election Commission will require more investigations to find how genuine the names in these counterfoils really are and whether these are fake names that have been generated by the Congress MLA and his associates. Keeping these factors in mind and considering the fact that the elections here will be extremely unfair and will defeat the very purpose of democracy, the Election Commission has countermanded the polls here. It will be held on the 28th of May instead, and the counting will be on the 31st. So considering the fact that earlier the elections in another constituency in Bengaluru, Nagar, had been countermanded because of the demise of the BJP candidates,
right.
In all 222 constituencies will go in for polling tomorrow, Aisha.
Nishtita, thank you for bringing us that perspective. We'll of course be going across to Nishtita tomorrow as well as those polls get underway in Karnataka. The people of the state will decide who sits on the seat of power in Bengaluru, but the repercussions of these elections will be felt all the way in New Delhi. The southern Indian state goes to polls Saturday, and both the Congress and the BJP are hoping that they can win the mandate of the people. But what exactly will be the deciding factor in this election? What will be the swing element, if you will? And is the result of this election directly proportionate to next year's general elections? We take a look at some interesting election trivia.
Hectic campaigning, high-octane slogans and a fight for the southern citadel, all over. It's now time for the voters of Karnataka to make their choice. But who holds the key? Who will be the deciding factor in the state? Reports suggest that women will be the swing factor this election. Women voter turnout over the years has been rising faster than male turnout. In the 2013 assembly elections in Karnataka, the Vokaliga caste belt saw the highest turnout of women. Traditionally, the Janata Dal Secular is seen to have the highest number of women voters, followed by the Congress and lastly the BJP. In terms of party preferences, reports suggest that 5% more women tend to vote in favour of the Congress as compared to men voters. What's interesting to note is that women voters are up by 13% this year. Could that mean the Congress's chances at retaining the state increase substantially? We'll know on counting day. Maybe the BJP has factored in that possibility. That could explain why the party big guns descended upon Karnataka in the last few weeks. But even if Amit Shah uses every trick in the book of his election strategies, BJP may fall short of victory. And what may spell that doom for the party is Karnataka's history. The trend has been such that the state is known to vote for one party at the centre and another in the state. In 1989, Congress lost the Lok Sabha elections on the back of the Bofors scandal, among other reasons. But in Karnataka, they returned to power with a whopping majority by winning 178 out of the 224 seats. In 1994, P.V. Narasimha Rao-led government was in power at the centre. But in the assembly election, the Janata Dal Secular managed to trump the Congress, which was relegated to number 3 position. Similarly, in 1999, BJP-led NDA won majority in the Lok Sabha. But in Karnataka, the Congress won 18 out of the 28 parliamentary seats, and in the assembly, they secured 132 of the 224 seats. Lastly, in the 2004 general elections, UPA trounced the NDA and formed government at the centre, despite the BJP getting the largest number of 18 parliamentary seats in Karnataka. But in the assembly elections, BJP emerged as the single largest party with 78 seats, but unfortunately lost power as Congress and JDS joined hands. Caste equations have played a major role in elections across India, and both the Congress and the BJP are banking on it in Karnataka as well. Though the belief is that BJP's chief ministerial candidate B.S. Yediyurappa enjoys support in the Lingayat community and sitting Chief Minister Siddaramaiah enjoys a following in the Vokaliga community, historically in the state, communities are known to have not voted en masse for a particular party. Several pollsters predict that this election will be too close to call, with both the national parties ending up with a large chunk of votes, but not enough to form government. Who then will govern the largest state in southern India? The answer to that will be clear on Tuesday. Bureau Report, WION.
Now, going by the number of seats, Bengaluru has a comparatively small role to play in the overall verdict in Karnataka. But it is the impact on the city that the world will be talking about once the election numbers are out and the electoral permutations and combinations worked out. How exactly will Bengaluru gain, and why is the election important for the city? Here's more.
Toxic foam froths over and hits the streets. The lake becomes self-combustible. The lake makes news again and again and again. Once a city of over 250 lakes, Bengaluru now fights to save its over 1 dozen lakes that remain. A city without a perennial river to sustain it, and with urbanization eating away its water bodies, Bengaluru now waits for its water tankers as it stares at day zero. A day when it may run out of drinking water. Bengaluru has many watering holes though. A city of pubs, it also has a thriving band of moral policemen who raid pubs and restaurants and enforce language and cultural codes. Bengaluru hosts the best of India's scientific talent and the oldest scientific research centre. Once called the Garden City, it now also carries the tag of Garbage City. So what is Bengaluru all about, and why is the city and these elections here important? A mix of the old and new, Bengaluru is a microcosm of India. It's aspirational, yet also struggling to balance its present with the past. Even as space scientists plan India's next mission to the moon, city artists paint the craters on the roads to highlight the civic plight. It's a city of the good, bad and ugly. Take what you want. Bengaluru is India's 5th most populous city. The population rose from 3.4 to 10 million between 1985 and 2017. A report by the Brookings Institute had identified Bengaluru as the world's 87th most important metro. But the city has also been rated as one of the world's most dynamic cities. The world takes note when the city votes, as techies across the globe still fear getting Bangalored, or in other words, losing their job to their counterparts in this city. The state government invested heavily in developing the city's IT infrastructure in the 1990s. Today it houses nearly 35% of India's IT professionals. It's been ranked among the world's best cities for startups and is projected to become the world's largest IT cluster by 2020. Information technology already contributes $45 billion, or 38% of India's total IT exports. Bangalore has 66 Fortune 500 companies, 682 multinational corporations, and half of India's 260 biotech companies, including WION. But the city's infrastructure has barely improved. Nama Metro has finally rolled out, but navigating the roads is still a nightmare. Politically, Bengaluru has a small role to play in the overall election drama of the state. It has only 28 of the 224 seats in the state assembly, so beyond the caste calculations and the polarized debate, it's how the election verdict finally impacts this booming metropolis that the world will wait and watch. Bureau Report, WION.